Anybody that's ever pulled on a big fish knows that this is the kind of equipment that it takes. It used to take. The secret to this reel is its rigidity. Nothing flexes, nothing bends, so it reduces friction. Spinning reels, achieving that used to be impossible. With the new Stella SW, every single element of this reel has been designed with one thing in mind, absolute rigidity, and the other thing in mind, perfect mesh of gears. So, anytime you have flex, anytime anything moves, you increase friction. Friction's your enemy. This reel right here will handle any fish that swims off this coast. Believe these things were first invented in France to cast really light lures with light line. With the development of super lines, what have we done? Well, the conventional reels all shrunk and we started doing crazy things with them. And then people started popping for fish that weigh 400 pounds. They had no option but to use a reel that could cast to a fish that's a long ways away. So it's a spinning reel. But when we've got a spinning reel, what's going on? I mean, a simple revolving reel is pretty easy to engineer. Here, we've got a rotational issue that goes this way, a differential gear in the inside to move the rotation going this way. We have got torque on torque on torque. And the answer to the problem is simply building this thing like a tank. You can think of it as a spinning version of a Tiagra.
How would us on the Northeast benefit by this? What type of applications do you see our Northeast anglers doing with this reel?
Tuna.
Lots of Scombroids, Larry?
Tuna. You pull back on a fish and you start to wind down. You keep as much pressure as you can as you're winding down. What you notice on this is as you wind down, you don't, what I call come up against the gears. When you're reeling in a reel, you're cranking a bait that pulls really hard. There's a point where you'll go like this, just naturally, because you come up against those gears.
Yeah.
And what you notice with this is you don't feel like you're coming up against the gears as you would with any other reel that I've used.
How important to have reliable drag on the reel in this size for the angler like you?
Well, it depends on how fat you are. But if you're a little runt like me, you get jerked out of the boat if this thing locks up. This has got a real interesting, I don't know if I'll be able to illustrate it, but basically, you've all put a bolt through something, and then you tighten one end of it, and then you go on the other end, and it's loose. And it could be as tight as you can get it on this end, but it's still loose on this end. Drags are similar, except this one. When you turn this, it actually tightens from both sides, so it stays perfectly even. But even more important than that, and I don't know who gets credit for this, you can take credit, there's a point where you get beat up on a drag and beat up on a big fish, is you end up cranking this thing as tight as you dare. As tight as you dare do it. That last 5% or 3% is where you get lockup. You got a big fish, and it doesn't go, it goes pop, and usually it goes first.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. And it's just simply too late. This has got a very unique constant pressure compression spring in it. So that last 5% isn't bringing you to that point where it absolutely locks up. It stays uniformly, I don't know the right...
Okay, sure.
Well, yeah, that really explains it, right? I think you know what I'm talking about, right? Very clever, very clever. The engineering challenges for this are probably greater engineering challenges than any that you've had to face, including building the super small big game reels. I think.